Is your host Rawl from author of Naked and Ashamed: The Story of My Life. So, guys, yes, my book is on Amazon. The ebook is for $5 US, and the hard copy is for $15. Okay, y'all go over there and support me. Yeah, man, and enough money. Go read up my life story. Everything is all over there. Every rumor you've heard too much. Right. Anyway, guys. So the last video I did was Jam Judd's just giving a review of her services. Guys, go over there, get your books published. It's a good service. Anyway, guys, thank you for your kind comments. I got a lot of positive feedback about the video that I did and people wanting to hear from me. Keep those comments going and all those kinds and wonderful words, okay? Alrighty. So tonight, or the more wherever you are, whichever time zone you're in, my journey to self-discovery and happiness. Y'all see me clutching my pearls? I'm about to tell you a story. Whenever I see me clutch my pearls, stories. All right, guys. So, as many of you know, I have been going through depression. It started at the age of 9. And don't ask me how long ago was that. Go by the book. And it controlled every area of my life. I was a bit I internalized everything that happened to me. I wasn't able to process the feelings of grief. And for a long time it did tried to ruin my life, but I'm a survivor. Right, I'm more than a survivor. I'm a conqueror. Cause guess what? I never planned for come and be no YouTuber, but guess what? The Bible says that there is no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, and I don't know if my story is going to help somebody to release them from their prison. Guys, there's no shame. There's nothing. People go through different stuff. It's just the way that you deal with it. I didn't deal with it for a while. I'm gonna start at the earliest part, and just bear with me, cause though I look like 16, yeah, feel like 16, my head is something else. All right, guys. So when the pandemic started, of course, I was very depressed, and I was just in my rut, and I would find myself just crying. I would just sit in my room, and I would just cry, like cry the whole day cry. I mean, like, oh, silently cry. And I felt like this blanket was over me of sadness, despair, despondency, all those things. And for me, there was no way out. Um, for the pandemic has a lot of good and it has a lot of bad because it was during that time I had to come to terms with some of the things that I refused to deal with. So with what is what is depression? Depression for me was a feeling of sadness, extreme sadness. I felt sad every single day. I didn't have to think that I was feeling sad. I would just wake up and I would just be sad, feeling down. And on the flip side of that, there was times when I was extremely happy, too happy. And I feel like a lot of persons they who have known me, they've seen the smiley side, but a lot of people don't know about the the depression. And some will be surprised. I clutch my pearls already. I remember I used to work in security and parasecurity or parasecurity or military organization, and I would do lots of hours, and I mean it was exciting and all of that. And but then after a long day you'd come home and I would want to sleep, and I could never sleep. My mind was racing, and I thought probably the excitement and adrenaline of the day, but I just couldn't sleep. I didn't take it for anything. And until years after that one of the thing you ignore, then it was by the time the pandemic came I couldn't sleep. any at all. Like literally could not. My mind was 100% awake and alert, but my body was opposite. It was craving sleep, it was craving rest, but I couldn't they wouldn't meet, they wouldn't sync. They were like they were out of sync with each other. And no matter what I tried, I couldn't sleep. If I lay down, my head would be just racing. My thoughts would just be racing 1,000 miles per hour. And I would remember everything about the day and I would just relive it and things from my child, everything would come back. And I was one day, I was like, God, I can't live this way. I just can't live. And I'm going to tell you guys, be careful sometime when you ask, because the Lord will give you and you don't necessarily want. And I was like, God, why am I not growing? Why am I feeling like I'm stuck? And then, begin to reveal the things that were bothering me. And sometimes we don't deal with things and we don't deal with ant until it become a mountain. And that was what was for me. I wasn't dealing with stuff. And it was as a result of not dealing with things that you come home for a hard day of work or you just want to lay down and get some rest. I didn't have no, you ever hear the Bible said no rest in the wicked. Well, I never wicked, I'm just gonna sleep. Anyway, um, I was just going through a rough period in my life, and it was torture, and I was in a I was in a relationship that I didn't want to be in. I wonder what me I didn't like. What the hell are you doing in my life? Like, who did you end up here? And I was in a lot of toxic stuff, and I began to say to myself, why me always attract the toxic people, them the toxic man, the toxic friend? And then I started, oh, me get it now. Like a light bulb go off in my head, and I started like, oh, so you are the one who's toxic. My God, let me clutch my pearls. I was the one who was toxic, and I was attracting these people. And we have a tendency, women, yes, me no gonna give me a lot of heat, but it's the truth. We tend to say at the dirty man, I mean the dirty men, and we fail to look at ourselves. I'm not saying in all cases. And I was saying, if I'm in a relationship and this is happening, probably I mean the common denominator is myself. And I just said, Lord, we're gonna have to fix me. And one of the things in fixing myself was, one, I had to get out of this pattern, this mess of being in a relationship. Literally, why when I ask God for something, sir, the truth is, guys, back touch my pearls. I'm about to say something. So I literally had to pay this dude to leave me alone. Yes. Yes, for him to leave my life, may I tell it truth? Me not have no reason to come here but tell a lie. I had to pay, what was it, 24,000? Yeah, man. Some people go get a little bit uncomfortable, but it's the truth. I had to pay him about 200 US dollars to leave me alone. And you would not believe. But that story is another story for another time. And me alone. I was like, God, I was seeing a lot of people, like my friends, co-worker, family member, in some situation. I was like, I'm not going into that mess. I'm just sick and tired. Me have to go make a change. One of the thing was being celibate. Celibacy ain't for the weak heart. If you weak, you can try celibacy because the first it starts up here. I was like, God, I need to, I want a reset button. Me need to reset because one of the things I came to realize was, and I mean, this may sound odd, but let's be honest, I didn't love myself. I look back and I was saying, there's no way that I could have loved myself and did the stuff. I didn't love myself. I didn't know how to love myself, and I didn't want to spend the time to know myself. And situations just forced me to um, deal with those things, and I did. It was painful because then you have to go back into the past, and I had to look at be honest, guys. One of the reason why I worked on myself. The truth is, not only did the Lord help me to work on myself, one of my motive parts of the world that led today. God bless you. God, may His face continue to shine for you. Because guess what, darling, you did motivate me. I was in a relationship. Yes, people get uncomfortable right now, and he left, and that was one of the most devastating moment in my life. Somebody we were engaged to get married. You know yourself, wherever you are. Hi, still here. Um, yeah, we were engaged, and he moved away, and it was devastating for me. Somebody who I love dearly. And you know what? I said to myself, Cheryl, I promise you, I promise you, sir, wherever you are in the world, I promise the next time you come across, the best revenge is you can move on with any woman that you want to. I could care less. You could move on to Queen of England. You could move on to a Miss World, Miss Universe. It doesn't matter. But guess what? I promise you, the next time you see me, you are going to wish that you never left. Yes, I'm gonna be serious. I used that all that anger and stress, and I was like instead of getting bitter, because at one point I was bitter for a long time, but time and years has passed. So I was like, eventually I did have to get over that, right? And thankfully I'm over it. I wish him all the best in the world wherever he is right now, and I just had to work on myself. And he called me to congratulate me on my book, and which was I was but then it didn't become about him anymore. It was about me just working on myself, being a better version. Because guess what? Sometimes, some people in your life, they're the two D's. They're the detractors and they're the distraction. Detractor and distraction. Had he been around, I wouldn't probably haven't finished school. I went to school. um, I made so many moves. I made so many moves in the time that he left that, like, I'm looking back like, girl, woo, you've come a long way. Mama didn't grow no fool, eh? And I'm just thankful. Yeah, I'm thankful. When I say that, I'm thankful that he broke my heart. I'm not kidding you. I'm happy that he broke my heart, because if he didn't broke my heart, I wouldn't have had that drive, that's this, to just be better. So sometimes you get some heartbreak from some people. You know what you do? You turn it inside out. And I turned it inside out, and it was just something that propelled me. And it was like a stepping stone onto the next level. Yes, that caused some of my depression. Depression, what is depression? Depression is just that heavy feeling, sadness, despair all day, every day. And I remember when you see some of these when you see some of these shows where people lay in bed all day, it was me that I would sleep for all day and get up still tired, because my mind was not happy. I wasn't happy at all. I remember, guys, I this is probably too strong for YouTube, so I'll leave that story for another time. But it was a lot of things. I had to untie a lot of mess. I had to deal with me on a not on a surface level, but I had to dive in deep, deep, deep. One of the things I had to do, I had to learn to forgive. You hear people say you learn to forgive others. I had to learn to forgive myself. Yes, me have to learn to forgive myself. Me have to learn to love myself. Me have to learn to be gentle with myself. And when I learned those, it was like I began to grow, like grow. Sorry, guys, it's crushing me. Yeah, I began to grow, and my perspective it began to change. Like, yeah, and I just wanted to the best of me. Even my thoughts about relationship and all of that. It my perspective. I was just completely blown away. Like God was just breathing new breath into me. You understand when He says all things are passed away. I'm a new creation. It was like I was a new creation inside out. I just didn't know it at the time, and I just started. The more I dropped off, the anger, the resentment, the unforgiveness, the impatience, I saw. I saw that rose. I was becoming beautiful. I was happy. I was content. The peace of mind that I had, the solitude and just loving it. I was just loving upon myself, and it felt just so good. Validation didn't have to come from a man because sometimes when we're in a relationship, a validation we seek. I had to seek my own validation, love myself regardless of flaws and all. And once I began to start, I just fell in love with that person, and the more time I spent with myself, I'm like, oh, I love you, girl. I began to honestly knew what it feels like to love yourself, on yourself. Just as how they say honor, you love somebody, you honor them. I learned to do that with me first. I loved myself. I honored myself. I was just so proud of that person that I had become, and it has been a journey, a journey. I when I told people that, part of my journey was being celibate, you think celibacy easy? If you think it easy, you try. But guess what? What it did for me is it was sort of a eliminate, if you will, because most people are just surface people and they don't really want to get to know you. They just want to, take the goodies and the cookies. And this cookie was not up for grabs. So when I told them, I was honest. I started saying, listen to me, I'm so and so. I'm celibate. We can get to know each other, but cookie is encumbering. You know, many would get like irritated and or can't bother, and they didn't like that this is not what they were about, and they left. So instead of we trying to, because once you go ahead to go, so you the cookie is crumbled, our perception change, the dopamine in your brain, the endorphins, everything change at your perception, and I didn't want that. I really wanted to get to know people for who they were, and it eliminated 99% of all those who came. And I was like, if I was this toxic person, or if I was this old person, but I just say, oh, I did not see man and not me. You understand? A lot of people said, as I said, they said I was bitter, was vindictive, and but I had to take care of me first. And I took care of my mind, my spirit, and I was just so in love with myself. You know, actually, when you begin to take care of yourself in the way that I did, guess what will happen? All the right people will come along. And when I wasn't even looking, somebody, somebody came along, and sorry, guys, can't tell you about that one. But it was, I can tell you this though, it has been the most grown up, the most mature, loving relationship. It's even blushing, guys. Sorry. It was, you know, going from just surface level to knowing somebody like intimately. And when I said intimately, because you can take off your clothes to somebody and they still don't know it, but somebody knows your mind, your spirit. It can't get no better than that. It can't get any better than that. And to know that I love this person, Like even the love was different. Me, I tell you, when you take care of yourself, the love is gonna be so different. It's like we understood each other in a way that I've never felt understood. Like I truly, for the first time in my life, I saw where I could be with somebody, where we could, because relationship, most of us relation, let's be honest, is only physical. But this relationship was like spirit. It's it's love. It's emotional. It's intellectual. Whew, Lord, intellectual, guys. Y'all know. I tell you, we can't talk about my life story, but it was just different. And I was saying to myself, this would have never happened. And the person said to me, Cheryl, you know why you've experienced that? Because you leveled up. Yeah, me have a voice note, me have receipts. Yes, for proof it. It said, you said, it's not like I didn't value myself before. It's not me value myself more. Me understand what I brought to the table. What I brought to the table wasn't physical. It wasn't physical. It was something more than that. And guys, I just love the person I am now. I can't tell you I'm not perfect because there's nobody who's gonna be perfect. But guess what? I love the person I have become and who I'm blossoming up to be. And it's a continuous person, and every day I have to remind myself, just baby step, Charles, or just baby step. Anyway, guys, here I chat out my business and whatever you. But thank you guys for just giving me this platform where I can express, I can share. So here what we are gonna do, you're gonna share, like, subscribe, yes. This video. And guys, just thank you for all the love, the encouragement, the support. Remember to go on Amazon to get my book and everything. So you want to see a part two? You want to hear about our relationship? Not too fast. You want to hear about anything? Just send me a line. I'm most times on, or just there's a link that you can contact me or that sort of thing. Guys, thank you so very much. It has been my wonderful pleasure. Thank you for giving me this platform. Small is world, acts of love and kindness. And see you next time. I love you guys. Bye.